everyone, welcome to this video where we'll be going through question 3 from the IGCSE Additional Math Paper 2 from the May-June 2020 series, and this is version 3. And if you want to find out the walkthrough for questions 1 and 2, you can find them linked in our YouTube channel, and let's get right in. So question 3 states, on the axes below, sketch the graph of y is equal to negative x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 6, showing the coordinates of the points where the graph meets the coordinate axes. So we want to work out and draw a rough sketch of this graph. So let's get into it. So first, let's find out what the values are at the y-axis. If you know what the y-axis is, that means x is equal to 0. So we're going to set the x values to equal to 0. Let me write down the formula. Y is equal to negative x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 6. Sorry about that. Let's get rid of that. Oopsies. Let's get rid of that. Let's rewrite this. X minus 1 and x minus 6, and now we're gonna put in x is equal to 0, so that's gonna simplify itself to 2 and then minus 1 and minus 6, and that's gonna be equal to negative 12. So at the x-axis, when x is equal to 0, the coordinate is 0 comma negative 12. Similarly, let's work it out for the x-axis. So at x-axis, this is when y is equal to 0. So negative x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 6 is equal to 0. And you don't really need to work this out, but you just know that it's negative 2, 1, and 6. That's what the factored form shows, but just if you don't really know or can't recall that relationship, you can just work it out like this as well. So that's that. So this is one of the points, and this is one point. What are the other points? This is another point, and that's another point. So it will go through these points. And now, more importantly, because we were trying to sketch a graph to make sure it looks quite accurate and in representation, let's take some more rough points and think about this. So we want to barely just scratch. So that's actually not necessary, but let's just do this anyways. So we are going to go through like that and go through 12, and now we're going to go back through 1, because 1 is a point that, oopsies, don't know what that happened, but let's do this again. That goes through 12, goes to 1, goes to the top, and comes back to 6. So you get the point. I drew it really roughly. It's not the most beautiful graph. Actually, let me redraw it once for you. And I'm drawing on a tablet, so please show me some mercy. But okay, that looks better, I guess. Let me give him one more try. Okay. There we go. So let's say that's roughly what we go to. That's your graph. You showed the points, where it meets the coordinate axes, so you scored those 2 marks. And now let's go into hence solve this equation. So what here it's basically saying is that all of this whole thing basically is just the y value. So it's basically saying, give me the x values when y is smaller than or equal to 0. So let's see when the y values are smaller than or equal to 0. So all of these points, the y and x and the roots or the x-intercepts, these all are when it's equal to 0, and this whole thing and that together all is under 0, so it's smaller than 0. So what we do is that we set x in the center, and we write x should be greater than or equal to negative 2, because that's where it's starting. So, and it should be smaller than or equal to 1, because that's where that part is ending. But here's where people get it a lot wrong. They just rush forward and they don't notice that there's another line here. And that's when the second mark comes in. You have to write the and say that x should be smaller than 6. And that's how you score your next mark. Actually, sorry, I meant x's should be greater than 6. That's what I wrote. So that's what you get. And with these two, you score the other 2 marks. And in total, you have solved this question really well and scored your 4 marks. So if you want to find more videos about how to solve IGCSE additional math papers, if you want to have some specific concept covered through, if you have any questions or want us to go through some past papers, if you want to refresh, if you want to do live streams, just write us a comment in the YouTube comment section and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.